Well, as I'm sitting here still broken, I'm going to go a little off topic. I'm going to talk about our healthcare system. So, I've only had experience with the healthcare in two provinces. So, in Ontario and out here in BC. Yeah, I didn't think I'd actually ever be talking about healthcare, but honestly, a lot of it has to do with what's going on with the US and people in Canada thinking they'd be better off being part of the US and just losing their healthcare. I'm telling you right now, you lose your healthcare, you're in a lot of trouble. It doesn't matter whose your insurance is, they're not going to cover this much money. I broke both of my hips, shattered my left pelvis, broke this clavicle, 4 ribs, 2 lumbar, and I had the hematoma from hell. I have more to share. This is just kind of my BC story because since I moved out here, everything went up a notch. Oh, I had a tick. That was the first thing that happened. I was out looking for the infamous river gap in Squamish. And next day I was like, what's on my back? And it was like ripped it out. And it was a tick. Everybody has different experience with the healthcare. I gotta tell you, I do really well. So if anybody's taking advantage of the healthcare, it's probably been me. So yeah, our taxes are higher. But honestly, the amount of money that you don't put out to go see a doctor, to go to the hospital, to just so many things. Let's start from my last incident and work backwards. So yeah, because I found some more things. So yeah, I broke my ankle, went to the hospital the next day, and basically checked in, and within, I'd say 20 minutes, I had a tetanus shot, because I haven't had one for a long time, and the x-ray of the ankle. 20 minutes, half an hour maybe, max. So honestly, the Squamish Hospital, usually you get pretty quick. So I sat around for a little more, maybe another half an hour, and then went into the ER in the back there and saw a doctor within 20 minutes maybe, something like that, and then got a pair of crutches and the air cast. And then I was given a list of orthopedic surgeons to call, and I was out the door. So let's just keep going. So it was a long weekend, so Tuesday morning I call the surgeon. And usually you call a surgeon, you don't expect to hear back, at least for a few days. They called me back in 10 minutes and basically said, hey, can you get up to Whistler Clinic tomorrow at 8:40, I think, to see the orthopedic surgeon? Sure. I can figure that out. So, wow, that's pretty good. So basically went and saw the orthopedic surgeon, said x-ray looks good, blah, blah, blah. Don't put any weight on it. Got another appointment for 2 weeks later. Went back to Whistler Clinic, had an x-ray, saw the surgeon, in and out in like half an hour, something like that. And he just said, yep, still looks good, don't wait, bear. Make another appointment in 4 weeks, come and see me, get another x-ray, and see him. So I got a week and a half left to go before that appointment. So, I don't know, I definitely winning, not waiting. So, things worked out pretty good there. So, and then let's go, so then the last one, so I have lots. So this is a problem, I have lots. So, what was the last one? So the last one was this shoulder here. So I broke this shoulder, went to the hospital, got x-ray. I don't remember how long it took, but not very long. Did I? Yeah, I think I did. Got an x-ray, got recommended to a surgeon in Whistler. So called them. I didn't wait very long. They called back. Got an appointment with that surgeon up in Whistler. So back to this is Whistler Clinic. Whistler Clinic's great, by the way, as well. And saw that surgeon, and Alex Brookshill. Basically, she goes, okay, we've got to operate. We've got to put a plate in there. That's not going to heal. Went up to her office, and then they go, okay, you need to get some tests before surgery. So I went to the Pemberton Clinic and got all the 3 tests I needed in an hour. So then I had the surgery within a couple more days. And yeah, it sucked, but everything was done, and then surgery, and then that plate they put in that shoulder really sucked, so I had to get it taken out 5 months later, 6 months later, and yeah, got it taken out. No big deal. Had another month off, and I was right back at it. So yeah, there's another good one. And then the one before this was another odd one. I was on value added, and this is just when I first got an e-bike, and I slid out on my front wheel slid out on a little teeny stick in this video here, and I got a cut on my hip, so nasty. So I couldn't even walk. It was like I kept riding, but then I kept riding, and then as it got on in time, it got so sore I couldn't even walk. So my buddy Jamie always seems to be one that drives me to the hospital. So go to the hospital and hang out there for a while, and I'm thinking, oh, I got cellulitis. So I've had cellulitis a few too many times. So anyway, so it's basically cellulitis, and I'm in the hospital, and I'm just waiting, and doctor comes, and he goes, well, that's what it is. I have to cut you open. So they cut it open right here, and then they drain it, and then they stuff this gauze in there like this long. And they go, okay, you're going to have to go to the wound clinic. And I'm like, wound clinic? Because now I'm thinking about getting shot by a gun. But anyways, the wound clinic is just where they take care of your wounds. So I go to the wound clinic twice a week for the next 3 months so they could put this gauze in and out while the cavity from where they drained it got smaller. So again, none of this cost you a dime in Canada. I can't even imagine in the US what this would cost. You know, and I'm going to say it, especially with Trump like wanting us to be the 51st state, and all these people in Canada, like some of them like, yeah, let's be the 51st state. And the first thing they're going to give up is their health care. And you know what? They're all going to freak right out. Because I don't even know what this would cost in the U.S. Just large amounts of money. And even if you have insurance in the U.S., it still costs you large amounts of money. So then let's keep going backwards here. So the one before that was on the fat bike, and off the whaleback again. Bloody whaleback. Anyways, that was really weird, because what that did, I landed on my back, and this caused my feet to go numb, so which in turn is neuropathy. So I actually went to my doctor, and actually I talked to another doctor, a friend of mine, Dr. John, who I shot a video of, and he goes, oh, let me get a hold of my buddy, I forget what he was, some neuro something down in Burnaby, and got in to see him, and then I got a bloody MRI in a week. It was at like 1 o'clock in the morning, but whatever. And then nothing came of that, and they wanted to do it again, like their MRI on my back to see what was going on. And again, nothing came of it, and luckily that has gone away. But man, I was like a year or more, 2 years of my feet being numb, and there's really nothing you could do to like make them not numb. Skiing was tough, walking was tough, but yeah, again, none of that cost a penny. Yes, our taxes are higher. I'm not going to disagree that, but you don't have to pay if you're unemployed. you're still not paying into the healthcare. It's absolutely free. That's one thing that happens here is it's absolutely free of charge. It wasn't always free. Like if you sometimes you had to pay, but I think the BC government like 4 years ago eliminated payments on healthcare for anybody, so it's just included in your taxes. Yeah, and then that nasty one I had on crabapple. Actually, there's been more before that. So I broke my finger, this one, riding on cypress. And I knew I broke it right away, so didn't go to the hospital for probably till the next day. I kept riding, went and rode some more because I knew what was wrong. And went to the hospital, and I just ended up having them taped together for a bit. But I also had like a little thing right here, and the surgeon who saw me down in Lionsgate in North Van said, "Hey, I can take that out for you." And I'm like, "Well, can you do it?" I think he had a set in my finger, actually. It's been a while, so I can't really remember. And he said, "No, I can't do both at the same time." So finger healed, and then I went in like a couple months later, and he cut this thing out. It just whatever, stitched me up, and off I went. Took like half an hour. Again, no charge. Oh wow! So now let's go to my worst one, the crabapple crash. So that one was a lot of days in the hospital. So basically, they grabbed me off the mountain, took me down to the Whistler Clinic. I don't have any recollection of any of this happening, but anyways, I'm in the Whistler Clinic, and the doctor sits down, folds his legs. He's got 2 pieces of paper. I think I still have them, and starts to read off what I broke. I'm just like, holy shit. So I hung around there. I don't know how long I was there for, but I got put in an ambulance, all drugged up, and I went down to VGH in Vancouver, and I basically spent the next 23 days in a private room there. Couldn't get around. I couldn't do anything. I was like in a wheelchair because here's what I broke. I broke both of my hips, shattered my left pelvis, broke this clavicle, 4 ribs, 2 lumbar, and I had the hematoma from hell. So I was 0 mobile, but that recovery was brutal. So 23 days at VGH, and then they finally figured out how to get me to the Squamish Hospital, and I was there for 2 days, and I was just about to check out because I just couldn't take it anymore, like just self-check out, and I saw my own family doctor, and she just came in and looked at me, and she just says, "Go home, just go home." And I was like, oh, thank God he said that, because I was just about to just get out of here. I can't take it anymore. Plus, my cat was here, and I missed my cat. It was, it was horrible. Now, one thing that did suck is they didn't operate on this clavicle when I broke it, because they basically were like, oh yeah, that should heal, blah, 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 blah. So they didn't do the surgery. I still had to go for x-rays. So I had to go see my own doctor, and then she sent me for x-rays, and she's like, this isn't healing. I went to see a doctor at Lionsgate, and I don't remember the time, but it didn't take too long to get the surgery. And it was a day surgery, and my neighbor drove me down, and yeah, so I still have the plate in here. This plate is not in here, but I definitely have problems with both my shoulders. So, but again, the big thing I'm trying to say is the healthcare system and I'm not going to say in Canada because I only have experience in Ontario and BC. The healthcare system is phenomenal, and the fact that you do not have to pay a penny for any of this, like, it's actually incredible. Like, I have more to share. This is just kind of my BC story, because since I moved out here, everything went up a notch, like more than a notch. It's gone from like mountain biking here, where yeah, I still had injuries. I broke fingers and I did other things, but not to the extent of the injuries I've gotten here. Like I've just, in 9 years, I guess I should get frequent flyer miles points at the hospital. You know, I know people that work there. Oh. But yeah, so just gonna I just wanted to tell you about my BC experience in this video. And then my next one, I'm gonna talk to you about my Ontario. So the difference in 9 years in BC versus all my years in Ontario. So if anybody's got their money's worth out of the healthcare system, which again, you don't actually pay for the healthcare. Like there was definitely points where you had to pay. So you had to pay like 40 bucks a month, came out of your pay, and then it turned into your employer paid. And then when I had my own business, I had to pay for all my employees. And they keep changing the game, but they never, ever, if you're covered by the coverage in those provinces with your healthcare card, do you ever have to pay a dime out of your pocket? Yeah, I had to pay for the air cast. I had to pay for the crutches and stuff like that, but that's it. The only other thing that sucks now is you have to pay for a doctor's note, and those are 50 bucks. So, and if you need a doctor's note for your benefits or whatever, yeah. So that was 50 bucks, and yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to tell you about my. I'm sure there's more. Like since I've been out here. Oh, I had a tick. That was the first thing that happened. I was out looking for the infamous river gap in Squamish, and next day I was like, "What's on my back?" And it was like ripped it out, and it was a tick. And then about a couple days later, I got really sick from that. I ended up in the hospital. More drugs, you know, whatever they gave me for that. That was my first experience with going to the hospital in Squamish, was the tick. Yeah, I've had cellulitis a few more times. Just, you know, so what happens is if I have a crash with a bone impact and blood, I'm pretty much going to get cellulitis. And this is really something you do not want to get, because the next step is MSRA. And that's basically flesh-eating disease. So you have to nip this in the bud, and I've had it now 6 times in my life, and it's really zero fun. When I went in for the broken ankle, this was all cut up here, and she actually gave me a prescription for Caflax in case it did happen, so I didn't have to go back to the hospital. So that was a good thing. But it never happened. I got I think maybe all I needed was a tetanus shot again to fight off some of this disease. So hopefully the tetanus shot was the turning point in the cellulitis game, because that would be phenomenal. Anyways, I'll be back out there riding hopefully in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to come back on here and I'm going to do another healthcare thing. I'm going to tell you about kids in Ontario. And that's a whole other story. Again, free. All right.